I'm going to answer your top questions about acting and show business in the industry, so here we go. I am Mark St. Cyr. I'm a series regular on High School Musical, the musical The Series, which airs November 12th on Disney+. You may have seen me in feature films such as Marshall or TV shows such as Law & Order SVU. And in this episode, I am answering your specific questions about the acting industry. I recently posted on Instagram that I was answering questions for an upcoming video. You guys did not disappoint. You sent in all these wonderful questions, and I'm going to work my way through them. Some of them are a little bit more personal questions, but most of them are acting questions. I'm going to make this personal ones will be brief, and then we'll go into depth on the acting questions. This question came up a couple of different ways, so I'm going to read the people who asked this question. Do you ever get stage fright / nervous on set, and how do you get past it? And the other version of this question I got from someone is, do you feel any pressure when filming or getting ready for an audition? Yes, I do feel pressure because I'm human, and I remember for the very, very, very first scene of High School Musical, even though I'd already booked the job, I'd auditioned, been called back, went to the test, and then done the read-through, I still had some nerves in me just because it was my first time on the set, first time working with the director, with all the camera team, and suddenly you have this part of you that starts freaking out because it's never been here in this character's shoes, acting this way, and it doesn't know if it's going to work out. And there's this part of you that's just going wild and crazy, and you just kind of have to greet it, is the way I deal with it. So I'll be like, oh, I'm feeling a lot of energy around wanting this to be good. That's great. That means I care. Okay, I acknowledge it. Thank you for caring. What can we do right now to make this scene work and to get a great performance out of what we are doing right now? So you can't really run from it. You have to acknowledge that it's happening, and some people, I think, when they get nervous, they get so caught and frustrated in the fact that they're feeling nervousness that it distracts them from being able to do what they need to do. But when you feel it, just acknowledge it. Just acknowledge that you care, and it's great that to be doing something you actually care about, because you don't get that feeling about everything, and then do it anyway. Did you ever get the urge to just quit and do something else? Absolutely. I think many actors might have that feeling or that thought. I remember just before I got High School Musical, I was thinking and talking to my friends, like, do I even like acting? Like, is this something I even want to do? And I think whenever you are in the in-between jobs, the in-between, and you're auditioning and you feel like you're putting out great auditions and people aren't responding and they're not getting back to you, or you might get pinned, or you might get called back, or you might be one of the selects, and you know your tape is being sent forward and you still don't get it, and that's happening for a period of time. Meanwhile, you still have life responsibilities, you still have rent, you still have these dreams, you want to live in a certain kind of place. That push-pull between wanting a certain lifestyle that I really want and wanting the security and the money flow coming in, that is a very big draw. And then I'm over here in the acting category where I'm in the in-between auditioning to find that next job, and that can be really painful. And the few times I've been there, I've considered switching jobs before, but I always end up getting pulled back towards acting, being drawn back towards acting. And whenever I listen really deeply inside, I know that this is something I'm meant to do in some shape or form. It could morph itself in the future. It could be that I want to direct stories or write stories or help get them produced or executive produce or whatever it is. I might want to be responsible for stories being told. I might want to act in smaller roles but still get the story told. I don't know yet. I do know eventually I want to be at a place where I can greenlight things, but just with my name power alone. But yes, I have absolutely had the urge to do something else, and I just try to listen and see if it's love or fear that's driving me. And a lot of times it's just fear, and you just kind of have to accept the fact that there are going to be moments when you're tired of this business. I'm sure you will feel that way with most businesses, that there will be moments where you wonder. So the next question is, what's your best advice for agent meetings? got a couple of things for you. The first thing you want to think about is who you are, what you want. So what I mean by that is, who are you as an artist and what kind of projects are you drawn to? You want to know that ahead of time, and you want to know it so deeply that you're not trying to adjust just because of what you think they want. That's what becomes unattractive in these meetings, is worrying too much about impressing them or trying to be what you think they want. Just be who you are unabashedly, and if they're into it, they'll vibe with that. So know who you are, know what you want. Before my authentic meeting, I knew that I was the kind of actor who wanted to earn X amount of dollars. And I knew I wanted to do it by doing these types of shows. I didn't want to do it by doing these types of shows. And I was just honest about, these are the kinds of things I'm drawn to. These are the kinds of dreams I have that I'm working towards actively now. Here are the kinds of things that I would do for money to a point, because money is one of my key drivers, but I would be really unhappy if I ended up on this kind of a show for a very long period of time. So that's what I came to the table with. You want to know who you are and what you want. And you don't want to change it because of what you think they are going to want. The second thing you want to do is get to know them a little bit. So come to the table knowing what you can know about them, study them, learn about their client list, learn about maybe if they share anything personal. If one of your agents likes to go horseback riding, you knew this, like maybe like, oh, if you share that interest, maybe connect with that, because you want to build a personal relationship with them somewhat, especially if you're going to be working with them for years to come. You want to know that you vibe with them as people. So that's the second thing, is to kind of research them and then build bridges with them. If you can't research and get any information, just build bridges with them during the conversation, and they'll naturally let certain things out that are personal, and you can connect to them if it's authentic to you. But be authentic. And so the first thing is know who you are and what you want. Second thing is build bridges with them personally. And the last thing I'm going to say here is don't go in there with any kind of expectations about how you need the meeting to finish. What I mean by that is you may not get signed right at the end of the meeting. When I met with Authentic, we finished the meeting. We had a really good meeting. They got to know who I was as an artist. I got to know who they were as a company. We left the meeting. They take their time to kind of make their decisions, and a few days later they reached out to me and said, hey, would you be open to putting sides on tape for us so we can see what your work is like and what it's like to work with you? So they sent me 2 signs that were very much in alignment with the kind of work I said I wanted back when I told them what kind of artist I was and what kind of things I was drawn to. So they sent me these really interesting, smart, dark comedy and this like interesting like fantasy drama. It was pilots from the previous pilot season. I put those things both on tape, sent it to them within like 48 hours. It was 2 series regulars. It was a lot of work, but I put it in. And they called me like within the hour after watching my self-tape and were like, we're in. We want to represent you. We see what it's like to work with you. We love the quality. As soon as we saw that comedy tape, we knew. And lo and behold, I'm on like a hit TV show that's primarily using my comedy skills. So that was a really beautiful experience, but it didn't come straight from the meeting at the end. And you kind of need to know that it's going to be okay if they don't sign you right at the end of the meeting. That's also attractive. So High School Musical, the series, is asking me, was my favorite part of filming High School Musical, the musical, the series? My favorite part has to be Kay Reinders, because she is so fun, so spontaneous, so alive. She tells jokes at an incredible clip. Her sense of humor is amazing, and I do most of my scenes with her. She's kind of my arch nemesis / rival / she's like my main scene partner, and I had a great time getting to play with her. She is such a great teammate. She makes me look good and look funnier. I hope I made her look good and look funnier. Like, not that she needs any help, but it's that was probably my favorite part, was getting to work with Kate on a consistent basis, and I hope we can do a lot more of that soon. So that was High School Musical, the musical, the series. So I got a question. How cool is Anne-Marie Bailey? Anne-Marie Bailey is quite cool. She is the president of company that is producing Root Letter, this feature film that I just shot last week, which was really awesome. And she's this amazing president of a company, and she's so kind and so warm-hearted and so creative, and so happy to be there. So like that energy is so infectious, and I had a great time getting to work on a project that she was creating. So Anne-Marie Bailey, very cool. What do you do when you took a lot of acting classes and you have your resume and headshots? And this person also asked how to get a referral to apply for an agency. All right, let's assume that they already have been taking their acting classes, have their resume and headshots, and now they're looking for this referral in agency. With referrals to an agency, the great ways to do that, in my experience, casting directors are the best referrals that I've used in my experience. So I already had a really positive relationship with the casting director at ABC, Marcy Phillips, and so she is really able to speak to my ability. Also, your favorite casting directors have tape on you. So Marcy has every audition I ever went in for at ABC, including the ones that I've been pinned for and booked. And so if you have casting director friends who have tape on you, whose word is respected, they can sometimes be great champions for you. The other area is, of course, people like actors, like fellow actor friends. And yes and no. Sometimes that can be a good thing if your actor friend has a really specific relationship and knows that their manager or agent is looking for someone of your type. So that's totally possible. And you should totally let your actor friends know that if you're looking, and if anyone has a lead, then they'll let you know. But I don't really rely on actors as much for referrals. I tend to rely on casting directors or directors. Those are the people that are the best. You just ask, and once you have the relationship established, you can just ask. If I was going to ask someone to put a referral in, I would use the phrase something like, how open would you be to making a referral for me? Would you be open to it? I think how open would you be kind of gives people this nice spectrum. It also does this thing where it subliminally assumes that they're somewhat open to it. But I would say, like, if I was reaching out to one of my casting director friends, I'll just use the name Ralph here. But I'm like, hey Ralph, I'm currently in the market for a new agent. I'm still with my wonderful management team or whatever, but I'm in the market for them, for a new agent. I was looking at these 2 or 3 places. I wondered what you thought of these 2 or 3 places, A, and B, I wonder what your relationship is with them and if you might be open to making a referral. Or I wondered what your relationship with these 2 places, and I wondered how open you might be to making a referral if you have a good relationship with them. Those are the kinds of things, that's the kind of way you would phrase it. The other thing is if you already have an agent or you already have a manager, sometimes they can be your guide into getting the other. I don't always recommend that you do it this way, because sometimes what happens is they end up being kind of super teamed and they're not as into supporting you. And so if for whatever reason the agency stops working in your best interest, normally you would just let go of the agency. But if you let go of the agency and they're kind of in tandem, you then risk losing the manager. So sometimes it's not always in your best interest. You kind of have to assess, like, are these 2 individuals like professional connectors here, or are they like really kind of in bed together, and are they going to prioritize themselves over me all the time? When you have your own separate agent from your own separate manager, they both have to prioritize you, and that's kind of the way I like to do it. But your managers can totally help you find new people, and your agents can help you find new people, and sometimes it's really wonderful to get you going, especially when you start getting these bigger roles that require more hands-on attention. So that's how I go about getting referrals. Personal ones, who's my girlfriend is Eileen Kyoko. She's really wonderful. She has a new play called The Year of the Solar Eclipse, which I am executive producing, and she's really pretty, she's really awesome, and you can go follow her. All right, that is it for all the questions. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like, hit the notification bell, subscribe to my channel. I do videos like this every week. If you have a question, feel free to hit me up on Instagram and DM it to me, or to put it in the comments actually below here. I'll probably notice it faster if you put it in the comments below here. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next one.